for us.
Or not currently.
I won't check.
New rule.
Hang on.
You got plenty of time to copy. We're instituting new things. You want to be on the board yet.
Guys have a what?
Corvette. We're starting a.
Does having one in the past count?
I know, that's what I told you, a previous collector, you know.
I thought you were gonna say something about my shirt, my wife said that looked like a pirate.
I said I didn't have any problem with it, I'm good for 6 years then.
There you are. I'm good for 5.
I'd go with Merrill. Stop over and lunch if I can come in.
That's fine.
I'd back it up. I'm like, let me see what I think that's on.
So what kind of, knowledge or something that I can use, because we just had a relationship on the Rodney. Gotta have some sort of.
Way back, I worked in the
Hey, sir. Since he was second in.
No, that's a dumb one.
I know he.
Yeah, risk, you don't know.
Yeah, he was in that.
He's in the director's office, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably, I don't know, 6 or 7 in line, maybe.
The non-working.
Never heard of
So, his office is a sterile. It's like it's abandoned. And I make it a point to mess everything up. Turn his chairs around, turn his desk. Last time he was there, he just wasn't in his office.
He does like a walk.
All right, well, I have it 2 o'clock, I'll call the meeting to order, we have a forum. Approval of the minutes of March 18th and April 25th, special meeting.
Support.
Motion support to approve the minutes as published for March 18th and April 15th, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Consideration of today's agenda, anybody have anything they want to add to the agenda for today? Not, it'll stand approved by consensus. Public time, anybody in our audience want to?
Yes, board. So we've been running for 3 weeks now, something like that, priority 3s. Hadley Township, Metamora Township, Marathon First Responders, North Branch Fire Department, and Deerfield Fire Department were all completely satisfied, ecstatic, happy. However, we feel it's necessary to make sure all parties are happy with this. So whatever we can do, I have some suggestions to make it work better, but is there a second part, public time at the end, or?
No.
So I've addressed with Jeff that anytime there's not a unit at base, at the regular base, and there's a priority 3 call, go ahead and tone out that first responder agency. As everybody has the ability, we can always have our departments toned out for any priority 3 run if we feel the need, which we've already done so. Other than that, I feel if there's agencies that need the priority 3 runs toned, I think we should accommodate, but I want to make sure everybody's completely satisfied. So I don't know if my tweaks to the system will alleviate that pain. I can't answer for the other 2 agencies. So that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Yes.
Tina Papano, Dryden Township Supervisor. We down there do want to be toned out for police and fire. And ours are voted millages, and they are voted millages based on first responders, so, we think our people deserve that, they're paying for it. So,
Thank you. Anybody else?
Darrell Schultz, I am the acting fire chief for Dryden Township Fire Department. I'm here on behalf of the fire department, first responders, and the citizens of Dryden Township. The citizens back in 1993 decided they wanted a first responder program. And after the chief's meeting, I took it back, I talked with the membership, and it was a consensus that they still wanted to respond to them. We want to assist Lapeer County EMS, and there's only 8 ambulances in this county. And let's say, for an example, there's only 2 left in service. There's one at North Point, there's one at East Point. We get a lift assist call in Dryden. The ambulance responds there, makes scene, makes patient contact, can't leave. At the same time, there's a CPR call in Elmont. Now, the next closest rig is either coming from North Point, or I'm sure they'll be moved around, or the hospital. I mean, that's a lot of time to wait for an ambulance on a CPR call, when the first responders could have went there, helped the patient up, got the refusal, left the ALS rig in service. The millage is, a big thing. Our citizens pay for it, and we think they should get what they pay for. Grants. When you're writing grants, there's certain grants that ask for, your population, the number of calls you have every year. By us not going on Priority 3, we just cut it in half. We went from 400 to 200 calls a year. So that's going to be a problem trying to get grants and stuff too. So, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
From Lapeer County Central Dispatch, if we have multiple departments doing it different ways for priority 3 calls, it's gonna make it a lot more difficult for us to be able to decipher, make those decisions and not make mistakes, especially the busier we get. If we have one department that only wants to go sometimes versus another department that doesn't want to go at all on priority 3 calls, we then have to decipher and make those decisions a lot of times when we're busier, and then the burden of that is on us if we make a mistake and don't send somebody when we're supposed to, or do send somebody when we're not supposed to.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I can speak some of them on the words, but I agree with Celeste, if the priority 3s are gonna be not consistent, then the fire department, if they're not at base or something like that, they should have to request them to be toned. But I do know that we do tone PIAs individually per department, so going with that, we could technically tone just Dryden and just Elmont in that vein. I'd rather see that than some priority 3s, or if they're not at base, or picking and choosing like that would be way too confusing. This would be easier just to tone the departments that want to tone. But that's just my 2 cents. I do like consistency across the board for sure, but if they want it, I hate to see us not deliver a service somewhere.
Lapeer County EMS doesn't necessarily have an official opinion on the MFR responder. The 2 things that we do have is that we absolutely appreciate the help when that help is available. And lastly, we are strong proponents of local control. So if your municipal jurisdiction has a choice on something like this, we strongly encourage that choice be heard. And that's the way we've been since existence. So we're pleased with the new opportunities we have, but welcome the support and welcome to support the local jurisdictions.
Thank you. Anybody else? I will close public time then. Director's report.
Hey. I did speak to Clemens this afternoon about EMS APL update, because we're trying to get Lapeer EMS's APLs integrated directly into the CAD system. They're making progress on it. I think he's being overly optimistic, but he told me about 2 weeks. So I'm gonna give a little more than that, but we'll see. But I had Jeremiah on the call, and he explained what he did to get his program working, for us, and we laid that to Clemens, so they're gonna take that back and see if they can duplicate that and get them integrated directly into the CAD system. And on top of that, they're also working on an app, for fire, EMS, probably police too, maybe. And like they're gonna start with iOS where, you can pull up a CAD, it'll be read-only at first. I think City Fire's working with them on this too, so that we can put yourselves on scene and route, all those types of things too. So it sounds like they're piloting that program with, Port Huron PD, or at Fire Department right now, or about to, so there'll be more to come on that, but we're getting closer on integration with the ABLs. We have a new dispatcher starting this weekend. She was from the previous pool of candidates we interviewed when we contacted her about the position, and she was still interested, thankfully, so that shortened the amount of time and going through testing and the application process. Our in-house Mavis program is pretty much complete. We do expect to launch Mavis on June 2nd. There are still a few fire departments that have not completed their box cards or run cards with us, because there were some updates that still need to be done. Candy has reached out to them several times, but have not heard back. So we're just gonna launch it with or without them. And regarding the LG Net, I've been speaking about that a bit. The jail's been moved over. Community Corrections is still not moved over. Apparently they have a different piece of software that the other police departments don't have, and that's causing technical issues to get it converted over to Clemens route. So that's downtown's problem. They're still working on it. And if that bill comes from DTMB, that's just gonna go to downtown. It's not gonna come here because we don't use it. So our SNC 301 and 500 reports have been completed and turned into the state on time. The department vehicle, they told me 6 to 8 weeks. I think we're on week 8 now, so I don't have any word when that's coming in. This morning, Lapeer County EMS gave awards, life-saving awards, to 2 of our dispatchers, Kelsey Harrison and Angie Workman, so thank you. It's a very nice thing they did, as usual. City Police was also there. They got some awards, of course. Medics also got awards as well. Did anybody from the Sheriff's Office get one? I know they weren't there, but.
They did not.
Okay. So, that was good. Always nice to have people recognized. And with that as well, this is EMS week, so thank you, Russ and your crew, for all the work that you guys do. Appreciate it. And again, medical first responders out there as well. That's my report.
Any questions for the director? Now we'll move into new business then. Rapid SOS, you anything?
So this is our plan. I got 2 requests for actions. A and B kind of go together. And we've been talking about our phone system. In your packets are the quotes I got for Motorola for Vesta Next and Rapid SOS. So Rapid SOS we have the free version right now. And the quote we have here is their an a la carte for their paid version for some of the stuff that we could use that would have otherwise come in a brand new phone system from Motorola or Carbine or Entrado, some of these other companies. And as I spoke before, the prices they come out with was just insanity to me. Motorola's quoted me $500,000 for the Vesta Next phone system. That does not include the business line system for like My Gas Candy around the building. So that would mean I'd have to go out and find another business system and have 2 separate systems to operate. And then if you call dispatch and you wanted to go with me, they would not be able to transfer you because it would not be integrated. Not to mention the price, $500,000. The competitors are about the same, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000, $700,000. And I just didn't like that. So what we've come up with is to go to the paid version of Rapid SOS and renew our existing Motorola ECW system, and it gave me a 15% discount on that as well. Should be in your packet a quick summary I put together to show you you the price breakdowns. And so the renewal on the 5 years for the ECW, that's gonna take, 5 years. Yeah, I find my copy of it. Here it is. Yep. So the ECW, so I put down two solutions. So solution one is the one we want to go with. Motorola ECW renewal for 5 years at a total of $121,287. And then Rapid SOS Unite for a 5-year contract, $131,500 for a total of $252,787. Solution two is Motorola Vesta Next, or one of their competitors of a similar product. They quoted me in January of $729,000 and $729,268.91. A lot of money. Still need a business phone system to go with that. Looking at those two options, it would save us, we would not spend 65% of that if we went with the solution two. So that'll give us transcription, translation, better mapping with Rapid SOS Unite, integration with IM Responding, which the fire departments use, body cam videos with Axion. I know some departments have, most of them have WatchGuard. They're working with Motorola to integrate WatchGuard. Rapid SOS has a lot of really good features. They're moving really quickly with technology and they're following it up. And they're just able to respond better to technology than Motorola's of the world, who are much larger and have a harder time integrating new features. So that's what my plan is, pending approvals obviously. And I broke it down by 5 years, so each year we'd only spend about $50,000 on the two solutions versus $145,000 for the other solution. I think solution one's a lot better because I want to maximize our tax dollars as much as we can and stretch them out as far as we can, while still keeping up with technology and making sure that we're able to provide the same service that we do today. Questions?
Question? So we'll need to make two motions, one being the approval of request for Rapid SOS and then one for approval of the ECW.
Make a motion that we approve the request for ECW amount of $131,287.
Support. For discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Make a motion that we approve recommend the approval of the Rapid SOS in the amount of $131,500.
I'll support that as well.
Motion and support, discussion. All in favor of the motion signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
My printer did not like this.
I only printed one copy because there was so much in it.
Well, I wouldn't stop.
It was email, but
Because, yeah, I
I
started.
read email.
Email doesn't use toner.
Well, I'm just printing in the midst of my other meetings, and I went in, and I was only on the third copy, so 6 pages in of 25. And I'm like, oh, no, stop this.
I've made the mistake of printing all of that stuff only to get here, and we always have packets anyways, so I don't print that stuff.
All right, we'll move into old business then, policy review.
Okay, just the one policy, which, thank you to the public for your comments. Dispatching ambulance medical first responder policy. So we talked about this at a previous meeting, and we wanted to get consensus among the groups and medical control. We received that, and I implemented it after the last med control meeting, and then I was contacted by Dryden and Elmont, who decided they want to continue running. I understand both sides of the coin. I have no arguments with their positions. I mean, I get it. I also understand the other side, where the other first responder groups don't want to run. I spoke to Chief Ken Jensen this morning at the EMS meeting, and he wanted me to pass on that he likes the current status that we're doing, not toning on priority threes, because he said he's saving a lot of money on his department. So he said he couldn't make it today, wanted me to pass it on, so that, there's that. My whole thing is we don't mind one way or the other. You know, either we tone everybody, we're great, or we don't tone everybody great. The problem is that if we have to do one thing for one or two departments and then another for the rest, that adds a lot of extra work, a lot of hardship for the dispatchers who already have a hard enough job as it is. My goal is always to be as consistent as possible across the board with everything that we do. Now, we do different things for different departments on several things. You know, that's just the way it is, I get it. But like I said, I'm always trying to keep everything as consistent as we can because I want to keep my dispatcher's job as easy as we can. And so the policy is before you to either adopt it as written, which is we don't dispatch on priority threes. And the CPR call is a priority one. That's we would always send MFRs on that. And you got anything you want to add?
The priorities are being done by ProQA now, so they're pretty consistent. So if it is a priority one, it will be a priority one. It's not a guessing game anymore. So that is a really strong point. I am with Jeff. I like keeping everything consistent. I think just having that is easier for the dispatchers, but like I said in my first opinion, that if this, then that, if this, then that, that's too hard. But we have a list, a quick reference guide that everybody saw, like for PIs, some people run on all PIs, some people don't. But we could incorporate this in that list to accommodate all of our users. That probably wouldn't be that hard for the dispatchers, but they, if this, then that, like if they're not at their base, or if we decide that this call seems different or something, of course the dispatchers would tone if they felt something was off and wrong, and they would just have that discretion. But I understand the points of the guys who don't want to get toned all night long, and they want to save the money, but I also see Dryden, they want to be a, customer service department that all their citizens pay for, so I hate to deny that to anyone.
Yeah, they're all valid points, 100%.
I kind of agree with Candy to some certain degree. If you're gonna do it, then if Dragon wants to go that way, it needs to be all in. Elmont needs to be all in for every priority 3 medical call. You don't want to start putting if-thens in. And the rest of the groups that aren't in are not in, then
That's how
I kind of agree with this. If we're gonna do it, it needs to be written in that manner. And we expect the townships that are doing it, they're gonna support that 110%, provide resources.
Yeah, and that'd be my position too. I understand both sides, but if we have 2 first responders that want to run priority threes, and I think we can do all of the policies, so they can make change in CAD, that if it comes up for a call in Elmont Township, they are sent on priority threes. I don't wanna have the conditions on it. If there was a EMS, felt that priority threes, and you dispatch Hadley, then have the EMS unit request it,
That's kind
rather
of
than the dispatcher trying to sit there and decide.
we
Instruct
did that for
your
Burnside
crews if they want
Township.
a priority 3 dispatch for Hadley because they know something about it, or they're too far away or something, have them do that dispatch.
So I have a question. Fire department, you mentioned that with PIAs, we have a jurisdictional border. So if you have an accident and it's in Elmont Township, we know that's the Elmont Fire Department, they do or they don't for the different PIAs. In the EMS world, we have a boundary. Well, no.
No
It's the
boundary.
same boundary for the
Okay.
first responder.
Yeah, because of the accident, okay.
Yeah, it's the same boundary.
Same thing, they're jurisdictional.
And when I was in Genesee, we did if the rig was so far away, do this or that. I wouldn't say it was confusing, but it did cause delay, and sometime a borderline call, they would wait and be like, oh my gosh, it's 5 miles, or 5.5 now, should I tone them or should I tone them? I think it should be, if somebody wants to be dispatched for a certain call, we should dispatch them for that call.
And I like that the dispatchers would have, obviously they have discretion if they feel like something, they want
Without
first
a doubt.
responders to go, because they know their ambulance is coming from the hospital down to Hadley, so tone them. And Kurt and I have a problem with that. It's a one-off, it's a one,
I
it's
think-
not every time.
What Chief Burke said too is very important. If Lapeer County EMS, for whatever reason, feels they want that first responder agency, whatever reason. They might have some intelligence, they might know what to far out, just key up and ask them, you know, and ask for it. I don't
Russ
think
will
that'd
tell
be an
you, for Burnside Township, now that they're the primary agency up there, if they get something in their medic says, I really think we should go ahead with, Marlette, because we're in this far out. We left it up to them to ask us so that it's more controlled and the dispatcher not having to remember so many things, so.
Yeah, and I just think that that's the approach, rather than having the dispatcher sitting there while they're sitting there. I don't want going through all that.
That's true.
If the EMS unit thinks they want first responders, then call in and ask them to be dispatched. Other than that, I think we need to modify the policy to leave it up to jurisdiction. If Dryden and Elmont want to be dispatched on priority threes, then change the CAD system so they get dispatched.
I agree. So that A would change then to County Central Dispatch shall only dispatch medical first responders to priority one calls for services determined by dispatch software pro QA unless written notification from that
Entity is requested.
entity has requested
Yes.
additional.
So we will need a document from Dryden and from Elmont stating they're requesting that we just dispatch for priority 3 calls for MFRs. That's my thought.
Well, I can put another line in here that says for priority 3 calls, we will dispatch Dryden and Elmont.
Well,
Requesting units.
yeah, the problem with that is if somebody else changes 3 months from now, we have a policy alteration. If we have the written request from the entity, the policy's the same, we just, that's a dispatching
They
thing.
can opt in or opt out.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Whereas if it's written.
Yeah,
no
if we're in there, you
specific
gotta go through the process of changing the policy, just put it in there based on the request. If Deerfield decide they want to start running again, all they do is send a request, and they get put back in priority 3s.
And do you want language in there, Jeff? I'm fine if not, that, you know, also if Lapeer County EMS or whoever requests them, that you dispatch them as well. Do you need language in there for that?
We already do that?
Yeah.
That's standard practice.
Yeah,
I don't think we need that.
Yeah, I just didn't know if you wanted language.
Now that Lapeer County EMS basically cover the entire county, Russ can tell his people, hey, if you think you need first responders, call in and have them sent.
We've always done that.
I don't.
Right, so but.
What I'm saying is I don't think we need to have a policy here telling you to do that.
And if we see a flag on an address that we have a 400-pound patient and we have a 2-person rig going there, our dispatchers are gonna ask them, do you want us to tone for a lift assist, do you want extra hands? And they're gonna see that, that'll also, you know, be common sense, so too.
Yeah, because that can happen and have nothing to do with first responders. We just did a lift assist on Washburn.
Fire call too, yeah.
We don't run first responders, but we done took care of the lift assist. So we would need a motion to make that change to the policy, because I'm sure they don't want to wait until we have another meeting to change the policy.
I'll motion to amend policy. Add that request your jurisdiction to request to run priority 3s for the request of them. And if it's not here.
I'll support.
Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. So Jeff will take care of that, and if you could send something to Jeff requesting that we'll put it in the file, and then,
Yeah, we will.
and I'll get all down and tell him.
Thank you.
You gonna call down?
I call.
Yeah, call down.
Just call me first.
So I'm gonna so this way this part.
I will ask him.
Just run cards, run
Run
cards.
cards.
Don't
Yeah,
get me.
call
But the safest thing he's not gonna do if you.
Run
That's
cards.
right, that's
Run
not,
cards.
yeah.
They're just looking for, yeah.
Because he's not gonna be in Mavis, he's made that very clear, he's not gonna be in Mavis.
That's a yes.
Yeah, don't want border agencies.
Be the last one in the state.
You just say CAD run cards,
We agree.
you'll get there, but not if you say Mavis. Because I've had conversations with him about it.
I like the vote.
The encryption mandate for radios.
Okay, I've got some updates. We're gonna do nice things.
Greatest thing ever.
So, I spoke to actually, yeah, 2 things. So, first thing first, I spoke to AMK Services out of Jackson. they sell, L3 Harris, and they sell, tape radio. So he came up, he brought the radios with him, and long story short, they do everything the Motorola's do. I play with them a little bit, they're seem fairly rugged. They're sold throughout the state, they're on the state system, other agencies use them. He's gonna try to give me some demos, just like Chrome County's gonna try to give me some Kenwood demos. I wanna get at least two, so I give one to a firefighter, one to a police officer, which guys run around with them, tell me what you think type of thing.
Give them the EMS, they seem to be the ones that break the radios.
Oh.
Yeah, well, I don't wanna have to pay for that demo. But you know what I'm saying, so, off the cuff, he told me that those radios, the comparables to Motorola's are around $1,500, maybe $2,000 cheaper than the Motorola's. They're still expensive, but not Motorola expensive. So, but he's gonna send me up a budgetary quote, soon. I'll have that at another meeting when I get that. Told him what we're looking for, what we need, we'll go from there. That was the first part. The second part is you might have even told me this, on Directors Association, Grand Traverse County and Mason Oceana are looking at this one. Grand Traverse uses them, Command Central out of Texas. This is a company, and they were at the Interop conference in Michigan this year as a vendor, I guess. What they can do is they can take Motorola radios, even the AN models, and they can update them to the multi-key algorithm for AES and DES for $400 to $500.
Wow.
So when I just talked to him this afternoon, I sent him one of our code bloods from the radio for him to look at real quick, just to make sure that, so he gives me a better price, and he's gonna send me the pricing. So just running the quick math, let's just say it's $500 a radio, and we got around 250 police radios to do, it's $125,000. Way better than $2 million. And he does an alignment and a tuning on the radio as well. So that way, just like taking your car for a tune-up, that's what that does. So it adjusts the channels and the frequencies, so it's right on tune and all that stuff. So he does all of that.
So would they do the maintenance in that afterwards? Cause I'd imagine if knowing Motorola, somebody else does that, Motorola's like, oh, we're hands off on
That's
your
a
radios.
good question, and I don't think that would be an issue because he's using Motorola software to do it. And the way they do it is he buys and sells a lot of Motorola equipment, and a lot of the radios that come with CDs or USB discs that have that software that enables him to do that and put the encryption keys, not the keys, but the algorithms in to do that. So we're not breaking anything, we're not hacking anything, we're using actual Motorola stuff to do that at a fraction of the cost of what Motorola would charge otherwise.
I understand that, but like Rolls Royce,
Right.
if you have somebody, even if you're using their parts, and this person here puts the brakes on that, then Rolls Royce will no longer service that vehicle.
And to that point also, is we're in a situation where the majority is with AN models, Motorola ain't fixing them anyway. So
I guess that's.
this is
They won't really maintenance contract on it.
I'm not a contract, but will they do anything at all on them?
No.
Not even, so they're just hands off.
well, they'll attempt to fix them. If they can't, they just say, well, buy a new one. That's the other program we have. So the way I look at it, we have very little to lose if we were to go this route. That means $500 a radio. But he's already doing this across the country. There's already one county in the state that's doing it, and another county that's looking at it. And like I said, $125,000 is way better than $2 million.
Right.
Especially for radios that they're not gonna fix anyway if they break.
Would this still require a code plug update?
It will require putting in the keys. It will probably have to go through Lansing to have them put the keys in, because they have the key.
So I'm just thinking that'll incur a fee as well, correct?
Yes, if Lansing has to touch it, there's $250 fee. Which we buy new radios, we still gotta pay that fee too.
Yeah, no, I just wanna make sure.
Well, excellent questions. So what I wanna do here is I'm gonna, $500, I'll send him one of our radios from Central Dispatch, have him do it, and see how it goes.
I think that's a good idea.
So,
Well, part of that also is we, as an agency, have bought a lot of accessories that we'll have to buy all new accessories if headsets for SRT members or extended batteries, whatever it is, so. I love that idea.
Yeah, I saw that on the NCA and I was like, this, hopefully Jeff can make this work, it'd be excellent.
Right.
Yeah, and then we would have to do it in batches, because I can't just take all the sheriff's radios and send it to Texas. His turnaround is like a few days, but still. So what I think we would do is, you know, like however many cache radios I have, you know, we program for you, then you give me your radios, I give you mine, I send yours down, come back, we swap again, off we go. And we go through all the radios in that fashion, you know, how many we can send at a time. And that would also, the other cost that we'll have to incur is still I have to upgrade the consoles upstairs with the multi-key encryption, so I need to get a quote from Motorola for that. That's one we can't get around. So whatever that fee will be, we have to pay that to become in compliance. This also still allows us to have plenty of time to come into compliance and work with MSP for when you get your radios for fiscal year 26. We can be ready to go, so we can put the keys in, the algorithms in, into all the police radios, and long before next October, and then when MSP gets their radios, then we can look into creating a new talk group with the AES encryption, and then switching everybody over. So I think that would be a smooth plan to get everybody to move all at the same time when MSP gets their radios. So over the next year, I can get all the 200 and some radios, and the rest of the PDs all taken care of. And we'll be in a good position, especially a good position financially.
Sounds like a good plan to me. Anything else? Our next authority board meeting will be July 15th. Need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Support. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned.